Hey, I haven't made any videos in quite a long time, primarily because I was busy with my personal life and that I wanted to keep myself more obscure on YouTube. However, upon passing a video by AbeCrack where he discusses preschool shows that get an insane amount of hate online, and a video by RJEco where he talks about Lou and the Bally Bunch and how it doesn't deserve so much hate for small aspects of the show, I was thinking of covering a few preschool shows that get too much hate online as well, but more specifically British preschool shows. I will talk about the following shows in this video: Peppa Pig, Lou and the Bally Bunch, Wissper, Mike the Knight, and Bodge. As well as those, I'll feature honourable mentions in this video. And before anyone says anything, I know Lou and the Bally Bunch didn't originate in the United Kingdom, but it did gain an audience from the UK and aired a lot on CBeebies since it aired in 2023. Yeah, shows are allowed to have haters, but sometimes those haters take things a bit too extreme. Peppa Pig. I kind of have mixed feelings about this show. It first aired on the 31st of May 2004 in the United Kingdom and focuses on a young pig named Peppa who lives with her family and likes to jump in muddy puddles. I used to love this show as a young child, but over the years I kind of lost interest in it. Sometimes the show can be fun to watch, sometimes it teaches good morals and lessons to children, but some aspects of the show result in it getting hated on a lot by people. One of the most notorious reasons people hate Peppa Pig is how she's portrayed sometimes. In some episodes, Peppa can be bossy, narcissistic, whiny, thoughtless, and sometimes a bit impulsive. She often points out about how big her dad's tummy is, or teases George with his dinosaur, and even has arguments with her friends. While I can see why some people hate her for that, there are some moments where she does learn a lesson and apologises. Sometimes she even helps her friends when they most need it, so she's not all bad. Another reason people hate Peppa Pig so much is due to the toddlers crying a lot, especially George.
The bubble mixture is all used up.
Whenever the characters cry, their eyes almost always spray out everywhere like sprinklers. Well, almost everyone's tears do that. Anyway, even if the crying can be annoying, they're meant to portray the toddlers realistically there. There are moments where toddlers like George disobey their parents or act bratty, but they always learn a lesson at the end. When I saw my friend Hoshi Wan being harassed by others for liking preschool shows and Precure, one of the commenters said they got her attacked by other users just for liking Peppa Pig and made inappropriate videos out of them, which just feels heartless and cruel of them. Bullying someone for having an opinion on a preschool show, or anything in general, is not okay. A lot of people pay attention only to Peppa Pig's flaws without seeing the full picture. She may be bossy, but she does learn, and she grows to be a better character over the seasons. Now to move on to the next show. Lou and the Bally Bunch. I've not watched this show yet, but I might take a look at it when I get the chance. However, I've seen a lot of people hate on this show. Why? Well, mainly because Lou cries. A YouTuber named Snipesnap made a video on Lou in March 2025 and compared her to Queen Thistle from Ben and Holly's Little Kingdom and The Little Princess. I'm neutral to Snipesnap. However, when he covered Lou and the Bally Bunch, he framed Lou's tears as a manipulation tactic rather than that of how a toddler would typically behave. At one point, when he shows the scene of Lou mislaying Roly-Poly Roland on accident and starts crying, Snipesnap says, word for word, "Who would start crying just because your pet's gone missing?" Anyone would cry if their pet went missing. You wouldn't know what happened to them. They could get stolen, they could get trapped, they could even get... I'm not gonna say it. I've had 2 dogs in the past, both of which died in 2018 and 2024 respectively. I owned them at different times in my life, and I cried when they died, so it's not like Lou was making up an excuse to cry or anything. Another reason people hate her is in the episode Counting Spaghetti, where Barnaby accidentally flicks paint onto Lou's painting, and she tries to paint on his to make it fair. Yes, Lou is probably being a bit bratty there, but that's not her entire personality, and that's like the worst we see from her. She never goes as far as to hurt Barnaby or smash up the school. Elodie also helps calm Lou and Barnaby down by teaching them how to, by counting spaghetti, like the episode title says. And what do you know? They calm down. And they apologise to each other too. There is another episode where she and Barnaby get into a quarrel, but that doesn't mean Lou is a spoilt rotten brat who bullies others for fun. When I watched RJEco's video on Lou and the Bally Bunch being overhated, he also said about how Ladybird Lou actually cares about her friends and isn't the menace that her haters make her out to be. For For example, in the episode Swim Class, Declan is nervous and reluctant about going into the pool because he was scared of the water, and Lou actually comforts him and they take a break from the pool. She also teaches him how to swim without actually being in the water. So Lou isn't all bad, she's just misunderstood by the hate base and is framed as a realistic depiction of a toddler. Next show. Wissper. I probably glazed this show way too much, but I don't mean to. I just find it a really nice show. Whisper's a 7-year-old girl who has a magical ability of talking to animals and helps solve their problems. Think Franny's Feet meets My Friend Tigger and Pooh. However, I've seen a lot of people hate on this show for practically no valid reason whatsoever, and I just don't understand why. The hate base is nowhere near as big as that of Lou and the Bally Bunch, but people seem to really hate this girl. I'm not intending to bash anyone's opinions on her, I'm just confused, and frankly a bit disturbed. I've seen grounded videos of her, rant videos on her, yes, even you know who ranted on it, if you know you know, and even a video of someone killing her. The reason? Well, simply because her show is unpopular.
Whisper, since your show is getting unpopular, I'm going to kill you.
Which is not her fault, or the show's creator's fault. It was just how the algorithm went, and the show fell into obscurity. I've also seen people make claims that Whisper is a rip-off of the Jungle Book. The plotlines are not the same at all. The only similarity they have is a child interacting with wild animals. Other than that, I don't really see any other resemblance. Mowgli has Blue the bear as his best friend. Whisper has Peggy the penguin. Whisper does have bear characters like Panda Dan and Daddy Bear, and a tiger named Stripes, but they're not her best friends the way Peggy is, nor is Stripes a villain like Shere Khan. Whisper lives with her family, while Mowgli was raised by wolves. Whisper goes to other places as well, other than jungles, such as the Arctic, deserts, or meadows. Some of the characters are actually quite charming as well. Whisper is kind to her family and friends. Her brother Ralph, while he does have his flaws, is a great brother to Whisper and can be quite funny at times. Monty the meerkat is also pretty funny too. Stripes is a voice of reason to Whisper and pretty calm when not provoked by others. Gertie the giraffe and Otis the oxpecker sometimes squabble, but they make up and apologise. Richie the ostrich is just so freaking adorable, I could just... Okay, yeah, all the animals are cute in the show, but Richie really hits deep down for me. I just love cartoon ostriches, especially Merc from Mars from Tomorrow and Olive the ostrich. Something about them just makes them feel soothing for me. They also have other characters I find adorable, like Curtis the chameleon and Malcolm the cockerel. The latter who, from my ears, sounds like a Scottish Norman Price for some reason. I guess that's just me though. Now to move on to the next show. Mike the Knight. I personally don't like this show much myself, probably because Mike the Knight can be a bit arrogant, obstinate, bossy and a bit selfish.
No, Trolley! My sword's for stories about knights, not stories about silly trolls!
People like Matt Neff, the Cartoon Movement and Tofu Van have talked about Mike the Knight's behaviour in certain episodes like in Peace and Quiet, Trolley's Sleepover and The Most Medals. I can agree that Mike can be quite rude at times, but at least he tries to redeem himself, and he realises his behaviour was wrong and he apologises at the end. From what I've heard online, I've heard Mike grows up to be a better character over the seasons as well. However, some of the haters of the show take him way too seriously. I'm not saying Matt Neff or the Cartoon Movement are seeing him the wrong way, I'm talking about another group of people, the Go Animate community. Back in 2014 when grounded videos were gaining popularity, Mike the Knight was one of the many candidates for grounded videos. One specific rumour that genuinely shocked me was how certain users claimed Mike the Knight taught children how to kill people. I know, it's probably all just a joke, but if Mike the Knight did teach children how to kill people, his show would obviously be banned, or reclassified as an adult show not aimed at kids. The closest we get are when he makes Sparky get kidnapped by Vikings in The Most Medals, and when he makes Sparky and Squirt disappear in the Glen Dragon News, but even then they are saved, and he doesn't actually kill them. Another running gag about Mike the Knight's hate base is they seem to pair him with Treefoo Tom for some reason. Speaking of the latter, I'll bring him up for my honourable mentions now. Treefoo Tom. I grew up with this show. He shrinks down, flies to Treetopolis and helps his friends and teaches children how to do Treefoo, which is, well, Kung Fu, but Tom's version of it. The Go Animate community dunked on Tom a lot and paired him with Mike the Knight, probably because they premiered just a few months apart. They also framed Treefoo Tom as a troublemaker, as they do with other cartoon characters they see as bad. Tom never really causes trouble in Treetopolis. If anything, he does the opposite. He prevents trouble from happening, and solves problems. Though, I think one of the reasons the Go Animate community, and his hate base in general, hate him is mainly due to how he talks to the viewers. Kind of like the characters in Dora the Explorer, Zack and Quack, Ni Hao Kai Lan, and Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Tom was also written to help young people with movement disorders like dyspraxia. Interesting fact, by the way, David Tennant voiced Twix. Next honourable mention, Peter Rabbit, specifically the CGI series from 2012. The hate base isn't as insane for this show. I remember watching this Peter Rabbit series on CBeebies. A lot of people seem to hate it, mainly due to the animation, repeated catchphrases, how Peter is portrayed, and I'm pretty sure some people said it's a disgrace to Beatrix Potter, the original creator of Peter Rabbit, which is just offensive and disrespectful. And now, I'm going to talk about the last show I mainly wanted to talk about. Bodge. Yes, the show about a Bilby who lives in Giggly Park and helps his friends with bodge or boom ideas. That show got tons of hate online. People often claim it's a rip-off of Wow Wow Wubbzy, which, I'm going to be honest, I never actually watched that show. But for some reason people claim Bodge is a rip-off of that. The art style looks a bit similar. That doesn't make Bodge a rip-off of it in my eyes. The Go Anime community also unfairly dunked on Bodge a lot as well. I used to hate Bodge until I met my friend GMTV Fanatic. He was the one who convinced me to watch it and see Bodge's true self. And to be honest, Bodge is a pretty nice show. He doesn't cause trouble for others or bully his friends, unlike how the Go Anime community portrays him. Most of the characters are pretty friendly too. Mia is nice and pretty cheerful a lot of the time. Denzel may be accident prone, but that's not a bad thing. He's kind too. Mr. Clobberty is a great adult figure. Bodge has a great family too. His dad's voiced by Jason Donovan. Although, the characters Ruper and Gavin annoy me. Ruper can be pretty bossy, mean and rude to the others, and Gavin can be pretty insensitive to the other people's problems. Granted, they're children, but that's just my personal opinion. GMTB Fanatic also found those characters annoying too. The head writer of the show, Dave Ingham, also wrote for other shows like Horrid Henry, Bob the Builder and Octonauts. Overall, the show is pretty nice and teaches good morals a lot of the time, so it doesn't really deserve the overblown amount of hate it gets. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to comment down below if you think any other shows get too much hate. Thanks for tuning in, and goodbye.